Hello everybody. Myself Dr. Upendra Kumar. I am Assistant Professor in Computer Science and Engineering Department, IET Lucknow. So, today I will discuss about some topic of C programming, that is array and string in C. So, before going to discuss about an array, first of all I would like to discuss about some brief about C language. Just see here, the C language, it was developed in 1972 by Dennis Ritchie at Bell Laboratories, AT&T, American Telephone and Telegraph, located in USA. So, that is why the Dennis Ritchie is known as the founder of C language. So, now initially it was developed to be used in Unix operating system, but nowadays it is widely used in various platforms, various operating systems like Windows, Linux and so on. Now, the next is the C is the mother language of all programming languages. Just see, whatever the languages developed till now, most of them have compilers, they are built using C programming. And other thing is, the most of the basic concepts are being borrowed from the C language. That is why C is called the mother language of all programming language. Now, next is it is a popular computer programming language, and which is basically a memory management scheme based language, which is a very easy to understand. Now, the next is it is procedure oriented programming language. So, it basically emphasis on the procedure rather than the data which it works on. So, basically it follows the top down approach, that is why it is a procedure oriented programming language. Now, sometimes it is also called mid level programming language, as we know that there is a low level language, then high level language. So, basically mid level language binds a bridge between low level language and high level language. That is why C language is called the middle level language. Now, we would like to discuss about array, our topic. So, what is an array? So, an array is a collection of items of similar type stored at contiguous memory locations, and elements can be accessed randomly using indices of an array. Just see, if we want to store multiple items of the same type. So, what is type? Data type? Data type is some allowable data type that is used in C programming, that is integer, float, double, char. So, these are the allowable data types in C. So, if we want to store multiple data items of the same data type, in that case we use array. So, the idea is to store the multiple items of the same type together. So, how we can access the elements of array? So, elements of the array can be accessed using the indices. So, it can be randomly accessed. This is the beauty of an array. So, this makes it easier to calculate the position of each element by simply adding an offset to a base value, that is the memory location of the first element of the array. Just see here, this is a diagram which has multiple values. What? The characters, multiple characters are stored in this array. Just see how these are stored here. These elements have indexes. So, in this index start from the 0. So, it starts from 0, the first element has index 0. So, this first element can be accessed with the help of this index 0. So, suppose the array name is suppose A. So, the first element can be accessed the array subscript 0. So, 0 is what? 0 is the index of first element. Now, the 1 is the index of second element, the 2 is the index of third element. So, this is how we can individually access the element of an array. Now, the address of each element can be find out by adding some offset value with the base value. Base value is what? Base value is the address of first element. Just see here in this diagram, base value is what? 200. So, if you want to get the address of fourth element means the index is 3. So, this can be obtained by adding, just see here, adding the offset to the base value is 200, offset is what? Offset is the difference between the index of the particular element minus the index of the starting element. So, 3 minus 0 is what? 3. So, 200 plus 3, it gives how much? 203. So, this is the address of the fourth element. This is how we can obtain the address of any index element of an array. So, remember, the location of next element depends on the data type we use here. Since the elements are of character type, so that is why it takes only one byte of memory in memory allocation. That is why the next element of the array is the address of next element of the array is obtained by adding value 1 from the previous value. So, if it is an integer value, so integer takes almost 2 bytes or 4 bytes. So, in that case the next element, suppose the second element will have address 200 plus 4, that is 204, and the third element 200 plus 8, that is 208. So, this is how we can obtain the location of next element. So, array can be treated as a fleet of states. Now, just see how we can declare and initialize an array. So, just see here, declaration of array can be done like this. First we have to mention the data type. So, allowable data types are integer, char, float, double. Now, the next is the array name of the array. Now, next is the array size, subscript, and within subscript we have to mention the array size. So, basically here the array size tells about the maximum allowable elements that this array can have. So, if we, so for example, just see here, store the maximum 10 elements of type what? Float type, and the array name is marks. So, this is how we can declare an array. So, first data type, so since it stores the floating data values, so float, then the array name marks, and it can store and how many number of elements? It can store maximum 10 number of elements of float data type. So, this is how we can declare an array variable over here. Now, next part is initializing an array. So, how we can initialize the array? So, there are basically two methods to initialize an array. First method is it can be initialized one by one, and other is by using a single statement. So, how we can initialize an array using a single statement? Just see here, we have declared an array which can have maximum 5 elements. So, just see here, within curly bracket we have provided all those 5 elements, since it can data type is float. So, the data floating point data is provided over here. So, 70.0, 55.5. So, this is how we can initialize an array using single statement. Similarly, in the second line, just see here, we have not mentioned the maximum size. So, it is optional over here. So, if we do not mention this maximum size, so the flexibility is that we can add more number of items to this an array. So, instead of just only adding 5 elements, it can have any number of elements we can initialize over here. Now, the second option is we can initialize one by one. So, how can we initialize one by one? Just see here, if we want to initialize the first element index will be how much? 0. So, marks of 0 is this much, and marks of 1, the second element, this much, marks of 2 in means the third element, this much. So, this is how we can initialize the each element of an array one by one. Now, just see how we can access the array elements. So, as already I have told you that the array element can be accessed with the help of indices. So, just see, an element is accessed by indexing the array name. This is done by placing the index of the element within the square brackets after the name of the array. For example, suppose there is an array whose name is balance, array name is balance, on which can store a double value over here. We want to access the 10th element of array. So, how we can access the 10th element of array? Just see here, the ith element of array, the index will be how much? I minus 1, because the index start from 0. So, since index start from 0, so the first element index will be 0, the second element index will be 1. So, the ith element index will be how much? I minus 1. So, we will provide this index to within the square bracket over here. So, we want to access the 10th element. So, we will provide the 10 minus 1, that is 9. So, the 9 is written over here inside the square bracket to access the 10th element of this array balance. So, this is how we can access the element. Similarly, we can also change the values of arrays. Just see here, we have initialized this array whose name is marks. It has 5 number of elements. These are the 5 elements. Now, if we want to change the third element, now third element is what? 8. So, we want to change it into minus 1. So, how we can do it that here? So, the third element, the index will be what? The index will be 2 here, I minus 1. So, ith element, the index will be I minus 1. So, the third element, the index will be 3 minus 1, that is 2. The marks of 2, simply we will use assignment operator over here. So, marks of 2 is equal to minus 1. Similarly, if you want to change the value of fifth element to 0. So, fifth element means the index will be 4, I minus 1. So, marks of 4 is equal to 0. So, this is how we can change the array elements over here. Now, how we can perform the input and output operations in array? For input operations we use a scanf function here, just see scanf function, and for output operations we call the printf function for printing in the console, for printing the elements of array on console. Just see here, the scanf function is used to take the inputs from the console in order to populate the array elements. Just see here, we have an array whose name is marks and we want to populate the third element. So, third element index will be 2. So, how we can populate? By taking the inputs from the console. So, this is what the scanf function will have two different argument, will have two parts. The first part is what? The format specifier. So, if marks array is of integer data type, so format specifier will be percentile d. If it is of floating data type, so the format specifier will be percentile f. If it is double, then format specifier will be percentile f. If it is character, then format specifier will be percentile c, and if it is a string character array, so the will be so this is how we can provide the parameters to the scanf function over here. So, just see here, format specifier percentile d, and we have provided the address of third element. Third element means we have provided the index of third element, that is 2. So, similarly, if we want to take input and store it in the ith element, so definitely the index will be I minus 1, and we will call this function scanf over here to populate this I minus 1th index value. If you want, similarly, if you want to print these elements of array to the console, so we can call the function printf over here. This will also have the two parts. The first part is what? The format specifier, and the second part is the array element. Here just see in scanf we have passed the address of array element, but here we are just passing the elements of array. So, the first element marks of 0, so it will print the first element of array. Similarly, if it will print the third element of an array. Similarly, this third last line will print the ith element of this array marks over here. So, this is how we can perform the input and output operation in array. Now, this is a simple example of array which takes some inputs from the console and it prints on the console also. So, here we have declared an array whose name is values, which can have maximum 5 elements. Now, we have given a message to enter the 5 elements. Now, these elements will be entered from the console using scanf function. Since we have to enter 5 elements, so we have run a loop here which runs 5 times over here. So, just see here, it runs from 0, it starts from 0 and it runs up to 4. So, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, 5 times this loop runs over here, and every time it is calling the same function scanf, and then the first time the I value of I is 0, so it will take input for the first element. If next time the value of I is 1, so it will take input of the second element, so and so on. So, this is how we will take the input from the console over here. Now, once the array is populated over here, when we come out from this loop, this array will itself automatically populated by taking the inputs from the console. Now, we will display it on the console by using this. Again we will run a loop 5 times over here to print these elements. So, how this is printing? Printf percentile d values of I. So, I varies from 0 to 4 and it will print the array elements from the index 0 to 4, it means n minus 1. So, this is how, just see here in output we have entered 5 integers 1, minus 3, 34, 0, 3. So, it is also displaying the same sequence of elements 1, minus 3, 34, 0, 3. So, this is how we can understand array input output with example. Now, next is multi-dimensional array. So, if we want to create an array of array that is called the multi-dimensional array. In earlier case we have used only single subscript. Just see here, if we want to declare a single dimensional array of size 5, so this is how we can declare int a5. But if you want to declare two dimensional array, so just see here, here we have used only one subscript. If we want to declare two dimensional array, we have to add another subscript over here. Suppose we want to declare two dimensional array of size 5 cross 5. So, we will add one more subscript over here and we will write another maximum size over here. So, just see here, this is a two dimensional array name x, which has number of rows 3 and number of columns 4. So, this is a two dimensional array and this can be understood by this diagram table. Just see here, this has how many number of rows? The first block says the number of rows and the second subscript block says the tells about the number of columns. Just see here, it will have 3 number of rows and 4 number of columns. So, it will be equivalent to a matrix. So, it will be equivalent to a matrix which will have the 3 number of rows and 4 number of columns. So, just see here, row 1, row 2, row 3 and column 1, column 2, column 3 and column 4. And how the elements will be accessed? The first element, that is row number 0 and row number 1, column number 1. So, index will be 0 0. Row number 1, column number 2, index will be 0 1. Row number 1, column 3, index will be 0 and 2. So, this is how we can access the individual element of two dimensional array over here. Similarly, we can declare a 3 dimensional array over here also. How we can declare 3 dimensional array? We will add one more subscript over here. Just see here, earlier it in case of two dimensional array we had only 2 subscript, but in case of 3 dimensional array we will have one more subscript. So, it will have 3 subscript over here. So, now just see how many elements it can hold. 4 3 are 12, 2 are 24. So, it can hold 24 elements over here. Now, how we can initialize a 2D array? Just see here, number of rows is 2 and number of columns is 3. So, it will have 2 rows. So, just see here, the outer curly bracket has 2 subsets and each subset representing what? Each subset representing the rows. So, first subset representing the first row, the second subset representing the second row, and each subset has how many number of elements? 3 elements. So, because there are 3 columns, so each subset will have 3 columns here. So, the first row will have 130 and the second row will have -159. So, this is how we can initialize the 2 dimensional over here matrix over here. Now, here the number of row is optional, we can either we can put it here or we can not put here. So, but the benefit is that flexibility is that we can add more number of rows over here. Now, this can also be initialized like this here. So, it will automatically take based on the compiler whether the values are stored row measure order or column measure order. If it is stored the row measure order, so 130 will be stored in first row and next 3 elements -159 will be stored in the second row. So, this is how we can initialize the 2 dimensional over here. So, this similarly we can also initialize a 3 dimensional array. So, 3 dimensional array, just see here, this can be treated as the 2 sets of 2 dimensional array whose size is 3 cross 4. So, it can be treated as it is a set of 2 dimensional array whose size is what? 3 cross 4, 3 cross 4. Just see here, we have in this set initialization we have 2 different color type of sets here. First color is red. So, first subset whose color is red corresponding to the first 2 dimensional array whose size is 3 cross 4. Similarly, the second color set elements they are corresponding to the second 2 dimensional array whose dimension is 3 cross 4. Just see here, first color red, it is a 2 dimensional array of 3 cross 4. So, it will have 3 number of rows, just first row, second row and 3 rows. So, it has 3 rows and each row will have 4 number of elements, since there are 4 columns. So, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Similarly, the second part. So, this is how we can initialize the 3 dimensional array over here. Now, this is an example, we can add 2 matrices of size 2 cross 2. So, we have declared 2 matrices, 2 dimensional matrices A22, B22 here, and after addition the result will be stored in result 22 over here. So, first we will take the input from the console for the first matrix. So, here we have run two nested loops for loops. Why? The first for loop is run for the row and the second for loop is run for the number of columns. Now, just see here using the scanf function we have inputted all the elements of first matrix. Similarly, we have run another two nested for loops over here to enter the elements of second matrix by using this scanf function. Scanf percentile f ampersand bij, just see here scanf percentile f ampersand aij. Now the turn is to add these two matrices. So, again we will run two times loop here, two nested loop, for loop, first for loop for row and second for loop for the columns. Now, the addition will be performed here. So, the third matrix result ij is equal to aij first matrix plus bij second matrix. So, the individual the same index position in indexed values will be added over here and they will be stored in the third matrix, that is the result ij. So, now the next time we have to print the sum of these matrices. So, again we will run two nested loops, for loops here for row and column, and this will be printed using this printf function, well result of ij will be printed. So, this is how we can perform the addition of two matrices over here. So, here we have taken only the dimension 2 cross 2. So, we can take any number of dimensions n cross n, I cross I. So, this is how we can perform the addition of two matrices. Now, next topic is the string and character array. So, a string is a sequence of characters that is treated as a single data item and terminated by null character. So, there is no any specific data type provided by C language here for the string, but it is declared as a sequence of characters. So, a sequence of characters what means? Array of characters. Just see here, if we talk about a string hello world, so it will contain 12 characters. How? The 10 are the characters and one is white space and the last 12th is the null character. So, every time when we declare a string in C programming, compiler automatically add a null character. This null character is symbolized by single quote /0. So, just see here we have declared a string character array name which can store maximum 13 characters. Just see here there are only 12 characters, but the 13th value is taken for what? It is considered for the null character also, because compiler automatically append this null character to the last of this string. If we want to initialize this character array or string one character by character, so in that case we have to provide additionally at the last character as null character over here. So, this is how we can initialize a character array or string in C. So, these are some examples which are some illegal initialization of character array, because here the number of characters are 4 including number of characters are 5 including null character, but the size is given 3. So, this is illegal initialization. Similarly, here the number of characters are 5 including null character, but we have provided the maximum allowable size, that is 4. So, that this is also an illegal initialization of this array. So, how we can take string input and also print output. So, the scanf function can be used with this %s format specifier, but the problem with this %s format specifier is that it terminates inputs on the first white space it encounters. Suppose if you are giving input Upendra white space Kumar, so what happens? It will take only Upendra, because once a white space comes it gets terminated over there. So, what is the solution? So, solution is use the edit set conversion code which is supported by the C compiler. Just see here in this program we have, instead of writing %s we have written % within square bracket colon cap /n. So, this will allow to enter those strings which have white spaces also. This is the beauty of this edit set conversion code. Similarly, this can be overcome with using this function also, gets function. So, gets function has a beauty to accept all those characters including the white spaces. So, this is how we can and how we can perform the output operation using the printf function. Just see here we will call a function printf and then format specifier percentile s, and then the array of characters, that name is text over here. So, this is what the string handling function, strcat to concatenate the two strings, str length to find out the length of the string, strrev to reverse the string, strcpy to make a duplicate copy of a string, strcmp so to compare the two strings. So, this is what the string handling functions provided by a library, that a hidden header file, that is string.h. So, this can be utilized in a program, very simple program, to check the given string is palindrome or not. So, suppose we are giving a string Malayalam. So, we want to check whether this string is palindrome or not. So, if we read out from left to right or right to left, if it is similar string, so we can say that this is a palindrome. So, we have to write down a program for it. So, here we have taken a character array over here, and we have also declared a reverse for reverse string. Now, we have taken inputs from the console using the gets function. Now, we have used the strcpy to copy to make a duplicate copy of that string. Why? Because we want to reverse it here. Now, this reverse function is called to reverse this string. So, now we have two character array, reverse string has the reverse value and the string has the original string value. Now, we want to compare these two strings. If using this strcmp function, we are provided these two strings to this strcmp functions. If it is returning 0 value, it means both the strings are similar. If they are not returning 0, it means both the strings are not similar. So, just see here, strcmp functions compare the difference of compare the ASCII value of first character of each strings. If the first characters are same, then in that case it will compare the second character. If the second characters are same, then it will compare the ASCII value of third character. So, this is how it will return a value. So, if it is returning 0, it means the strings are same, it means string is palindrome, otherwise string is not palindrome. So, this is what about the string handling function that can be used over here. So, this is all about the array and string what we have discussed. Thank you very much.